All right, so 2024 is almost over. I thought this would be a good time to do somewhat of a check-in, talk about the best hits and misses of this year, but also kind of give you guys a recap on where my mind's at. Hindsight always being 2020. My quest on this channel, as I always share with you guys, as much as I do review content, is really to build the best home gym for me personally, and then share my experiences along the way with you guys. Hopefully you get something out of this. I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time. This could be very long, but I wanna jump right to what I think are the best things I picked up in 2024. And I believe most of this stuff I did pay for, was not sent me free for review. If you guys do wanna check out anything that is featured in this video, there are some promo codes and affiliate links down below to help support me and the channel. I'm starting off with the greatest hits, and this is one that was a gamble if you guys watched the original review. This is the Titan Fitness leg curl leg extension machine. There's a lot of different brands out there and I can't speak for all of them. Some seem to be made in similar quality and similar function. The biggest thing with me and why I said this was a gamble was primarily because even when I used to go to the commercial gym, you're not really sure how this thing is really gonna fit you. And this thing primarily fits for me perfectly. So I am 6 foot tall, currently weighing 220 if you guys are curious. Setting up for the leg extensions and also leg curls with this backrest seems to work out perfectly in the seat. But most importantly, even when I used to go to the gym, sometimes there was knee pain or just knee discomfort in some of those machines. This feels perfect for me. All the right areas are feeling where they should be feeling it. So leg extensions, feeling it right in the quads. Same thing with leg curls. I know people argue about the strength curve or force curve on this. I think the most important thing if you're doing, say, leg extensions is to really just crank this thing back as far as you can to get the most leverage or most stress out of the gates with this exercise. But I just love the simplicity of it. And if I was starting all over again for sure at my home gym, I would have thought I'd say this. One of these machines would definitely be a must because I feel like it just hits my legs in all the right spots. And in a similar vein, a very cheap, very inexpensive purchase. I've seen this thing go as low as $99 is this calf raise machine. I know this is getting into personal preferences here. I only bought this because it was so inexpensive that the basic features and function is really all you need. It'd be great to kind of upgrade to something a little more aesthetically pleasing, a little more robust for sure. But I can say, especially using this, also Smith machine attachment, I'll get to that. Also the U-cups for another thing I was using for my calves. This thing has definitely worked on just building up my calves. I'm a big believer, common sense, that if you want something to grow, you just target it specifically. And I found this machine works great, not just in the gastrocnemius or calves, but you're definitely feeling what you should be feeling in a seated leg raise or seated calf raise, in the soleus muscle. And I feel like for the value, how light this thing is to get out of the way, yes, it's flimsy, but again, it does what it's supposed to do. And that's why I would pick this up again. And then moving over to my right here, this is something that does not get enough love. This thing is on wheels. It is the Force USA big storage rack. What I like about this, of course, you can set up storage on your walls. As much as I do love a lot of toys, and I always say I'm not gonna need these attachments, but when they're there and you want something, it's good to kind of have it. This Force USA storage rack is really kind of a godsend. I use it all the time, storing stuff obviously out of the way. I haven't even maximized this. I'm sure I didn't really organize this the best way possible. Moving on here, now you guys know I love my Total gyms, and I say it very often, if you get a cheap one or used one, you can still get the basic function for it. And this is something, I didn't think I'd put this in my greatest hits, but I've been using this so much. Again, personal preference, it is pricey, but I think I have an exclusive code. If you guys are curious, it does save you, I think, $200 something off at checkout with the promo code. This Evolve I do like because it's very similar to the GTS, which was, I traded something for it, but it was over, I think, $2,000 something in value. And even though I have it right over here, I tend to not use it because it's just so big. This thing being so compact, it does all the things I need a sliding bench trainer to do, especially with this glide board being able to kind of go horizontal. I use this all the time. I'm starting to use it a lot more this year. I'll maybe get to this when I'm talking about the functional trainer. But my goal is this year to really kind of put it in more of a pivotal spot, so I'm more likely to use it versus just kind of tucked away in a corner. But I love my Total Gym or sliding bench trainer for upper body exercises. And as you guys can see here, chaining things together, shoulders, chest, back, arms. And I know people were wincing at the price when they first saw it. I'm definitely with you guys on that. But for the added features, if you had the money, this is probably the most versatile, best sliding bench trainer that's out there right now. So that's why this is making the cut. The next thing that is up there in the best things of 2024 that I reviewed, and if I had the extra money to spend, this is more of a budget concern, it would be this or maybe a lever gym. I personally think the Quantum Trainer, it's more commercial, it's more versatile in my opinion, and I think it's just a better built machine for a number of reasons, is the winner of most lever gyms that are out there. I also did feature a couple lever arm reviews, and I mentioned I love those. The problem with lever arms, even with my Force USA rack that has them, is I just don't use them for the sake of time. Like you guys, I got a short window, so if I'm gonna use some sort of lever gym machine, like a Quantum trainer. I kind of need it set up. This is more of a luxury item, but what I love about this, and ironically why you don't see it as much, is because you can break down and set this thing up in 15 minutes. So it's in a storage shelf here. I'm gonna break this out again, actually soon, probably in the next few days for the new year. I believe they sold out. There still is a promo code with them if you guys are curious, but I think they're shipping out a new set, some minor new tweaks that are, I guess you could say, are upgrades coming up in the new year, but you'll see that feature. Definitely one of my favorite things in my home gym is this Quantum trainer. Working our way down the best category, I'm trying to leave out accessories unless they really stand out, and this one stands out the most. This Rogue straight bar, USA made. I just think it's so great. It's perfect for all the things that I would use it. Definitely my go-to top favorite accessory for a number of reasons is this Rogue straight bar. I did a minor review on this if you guys are curious, but love this thing. Then wrapping up my top products of 2024 would have to be in the Ironmaster category. I'm gonna put two things in there. It would be the Ironmaster Super Bench version 2, I think is the proper name. And then of course, their adjustable dumbbells. Super Bench, just because it's so versatile, goes with a lot of their attachments. I don't think you necessarily need all these things. Granted, like this Preacher Curl, I don't use it all the time. But it's light enough, it's easy enough to put on that I will use something like this, and again, takes away for needing a big Preacher Curl station. And of course, the Super Bench itself is just so light, just so versatile, easy to store out of the way. Those are probably the biggest things. And the Ironmaster dumbbells, of course, are part of the other parts of the ecosystem. Really, I just like it because of the heavy weight capacity. And I really feel like the more I've used it, I've kind of taken the training wheels off of just my adjustable dumbbell capacity and just found myself just doing a lot more weight than I was used to with my old Snowed 8080s that had the limit of 80 pounds. As much as I love those things aesthetically and how they felt, these things I don't think look as nice and aren't as easy to kind of change out weights, obviously, but probably definitely I would never look back to get a lighter adjustable dumbbell. At least didn't have 120 as a max capacity for a number of exercises you guys can do with them. Now those would be some of the top items. Now we're getting down to kind of like mid-tier, and again, I'm trying to leave out the smaller accessory stuff. It would be easy to plug in my collar hooks, much as I do love those. And even something like this Clench Carbon Pro Bar, probably my favorite resistance band bar up at this point, but it's still pretty new. So this is right on the verge of that top list. But again, I really only got this thing, really started playing with it, I guess, for a few weeks. So this is up there as an honorable mention. Being up there as a huge contender, might be in the top contender list, but I gotta say it's maybe because I haven't a whole lot of time to play with it to see if I'd actually use this. I've said before, as much as I do love Smith Machine all-in-one trainers, I just know I'm never gonna use Smith Machine that often to necessitate always having a bar installed. This SYL thing is relatively affordable. I love how small it is compared to, say, the VTS Bulletproof. And as of right now, I've been using it primarily for chest exercises. I don't really use it too much for the squats, but that's primarily, you'll see even in this workout, I did some regular chest stuff. And this just happens to work out on another big purchase for 2024 that I'd say it's on the verge of being probably the best. I don't really have any major regrets, maybe some subtle regrets, but this Force USA X15, it just happens to work out perfectly with this SYL unit that I can leave it on here and it tends to stay out of the way, or I can maneuver it out of the way so I don't have to take it off. I can't say it's gonna be the case for all of you guys, but I think if you got a squat rack, 3x3 rack, and it is, I'd say at least 90 inches tall, I think this is 91 inches tall, I think you could leave this in the upright and be fine. The Force USA X15, I've said this before, I like Force USA, of course. Their main thing is the all-in-ones with the Smith Machine. Generally, those things are smaller. I still think they're kind of expensive when you compare it to things like a Rep all-in-one trainer that's definitely more robust. I think this is their best unit. I know it's a hot take. Again, I've said that. Many people are picking up and looking towards the C10. Great machine, of course. I just like this because it is a 2-to-1, 1-to-1. It's very simplistic in what it does. I love the storage options. Most importantly for me, I really like the 3x3 1-inch holes. Even though I say this is where it kind of gets a subtle territory is maybe, is that on the sides here, it does not have the 1-inch holes. So in retrospect, this gets into personal preference again, functional trainers. I love the functional trainer. I really don't use it as much as I thought I did. And I said that before in previous videos. You know, in retrospect, I don't really know. I think I love the USA made Rogue RM3. That's really cool because it is a 3x3 rack, 1-inch holes. Of course, you do not need that for most people's lifting needs, as I always say. But the great thing about that is just all the doors that are open to you with various attachments that are more accessible. But this Force USA rack, I do love it because the 2-to-1, 1-to-1. The only issue is you're making a little sacrifice with always kind of built in here because this cable will always be in the way. So I'm doing things like bench press or even squats. If I rack the weight, sometimes the weight might kind of hit this and I just got to kind of put it out of the way, but that's just kind of a minor thing. Otherwise, I think all the accessories on this are pretty robust and it does all the major things I need to in a relatively, small footprint here. And then 2024, I picked up the Titan Fitness Squat Max MD. I've been referring to this one a lot more compared to a leg press. I would still say maybe it's personal preference. I just find for people that are looking for a leg press, they're looking for something that they can work the lower body, it doesn't put any stress on their back. This pretty much does put zero stress on your back. I just think though for most people, maybe the foot placement and just possibly the footprint, I don't know, but this is a smaller footprint and definitely has wheels, fairly affordable compared to a squat to a leg press. Pretty versatile machine. This is definitely up there. Why it's not making the top of the list is I kind of rotate its use. I think if someone took this away from me, I didn't have it, I think I would still be fine with the leg department, but I do love this thing. This is in that borderline of luxury purchase, I should say. Now this is the space here that in 2025, I hope to do something we're really gonna see, and this is somewhat in the regretful territory. The biggest issue I have, and some of you guys might relate to this, is that all these things that you're gonna see here are actually very good pieces of equipment, and I really have a hard time deciding which one of these I want to get rid of because I like all of them. First of which I'll just talk about as far as cardio equipment is this Sol F89, which I would say of all the cardio pieces I have, it's great to have 3 different pieces. I have this thing, the stepper, and then the Rogue Echo Bike. What I love about this thing is because as heavy as it is and issues I had initially with the first one they sent me, this one's good. This one has a lifetime warranty on the motor. I think it's their best or top of the line or in-home use machine that they have. Again, has a lifetime motor warranty, has one of the biggest screens. My wife basically loves this thing, goes incline, decline. This is something of all the cardio pieces that I think I wouldn't want to get rid of. It would be this one, even though recently I'm not using it as much. I just think this is the most versatile piece. If I was doing it again, I would still get a Sol treadmill, and I personally think this is the best one. I would say the step below this one, I forget the number, I'll throw it on the screen. It might be the better option because it just saves you some money. I think they have a sale going on now too. Stepper, I do like. It's a little tight, but it's such a small footprint that I don't really want to get rid of it because I might regret it. And I've been using it actually again recently and trying to get back on the cardio stint here. Been kind of slacking recently, but this is really the biggest thing right here that I don't really know what to do about because I do think this Force USA 45-degree leg press, I said last year this was, I think, maybe one of my favorite things I picked up for due reason because I feel like if you want a leg press, this is one of the things I feel like I regretted missing in a gym. And as much as I do love the 45-degree leg press feature, I was using the calf raises, don't need that anymore because of other things I picked up. Long story short, this thing is awesome, but it just takes up so much space. It might be kind of too tight of quarters based on, trying to get in there, navigating the weights that I have. My kids put their bikes sometimes over here. And this is just very valuable real estate that I think somewhat goes unused. And I don't really know, for the very sake of just not feeling so cluttered, if it's really worth having it in the space. I don't want to say it's a full regret. I know that 45-degree leg presses are on the horizon. People like them. And I think I may or may not regret having them. But if I'm totally honest, guys, I really only use this thing maybe 1 time a month, maybe 2 times a month, if that. This gets pushed out a lot by basic squats, other dumbbell free weight stuff. Honestly, even my Squat Max and my leg curl leg extension machine that I feel like as great as this thing is, I just don't use it. So time will tell. All that to say is, as far as more regretful territory, I wouldn't recommend, or you gotta be careful choosing big pieces like this that take up so much room. You gotta think pretty closely. But if I was saying of all these 3 things here, that are at least in this area right there, the Sol F89 is the best option because it is portable, folds up, rolls out of the way, and it's just such a great machine, honestly. So that is it. If you guys are longtime followers of the channel, you might be wondering, like, hey, what about this product or that product? Definitely drop a comment and I'll give you guys my 2 cents about it. These are honestly the best ones. I didn't want to go through every single thing point by point. Odds are if you watch the channel enough, you'll see me using it or not using it, and that's a good sign that I think that really is a top pick. These of the year, I think, are my favorite picks as of right now. I pretty much stand by it. I don't really feel like I want a whole lot. Honestly, in 2025, there's nothing that's really catching my attention, or at least that's coming to my mind right away. If you guys got any tips for me in this gym or anything you guys are looking forward to or want to see in the future, let me know, and I'll see you guys on the next video.